indicator that it's recording. Excellent. All right. So thank you everybody for joining us for a fun DIY class. This is really cool because it's different than any of the others we've done before. Samantha Keynes is joining me and she's going to walk you guys. She's a little bath bomb and shower melt expert at this point after making them probably so many times. We're sharing some hacks with you, some things that we've just found over time to make it a lot easier so you don't have to kind of blindly go in and try and figure out a recipe that if you're not sure if it'll even work, right? So the first thing I'm going to do is just share my screen with you guys so that you can enjoy our presentation. And can you guys see that okay? So far? Excellent. And you can hear me okay? Perfect. All right. Like I said, feel free to, thanks. Okay. Feel free to ask me any questions at any point, not a problem. And definitely slow me down. You guys can take pictures. You can feel free to take little screenshots on your computer. There is a whole lot of recipes. I'm giving you a bunch of different, diffuser blends, room sprays. The recipes you can kind of mix and match to what you want to use them for, whether you're using a room spray. I love using just these they're BPA-free plastic bottles that were made for food grade product kind of thing. So I'll just put, some oils and some distilled water or witch hazel, whatever kind of carrier. We'll be going through that with you guys just to give a different sort of a feel to the sprays. And it's just something super easy. These are all things that you can kind of find very easily in town. Health food stores, doTERRA, Amazon, there's so many ways to get all of these things, but the simplest ones are the best. And those are ones with like little jars that you've used, little jam jars, wrap a bow on there and it looks beautiful. So we're going to have fun tonight. And I know you guys all love doTERRA and we're all in this for the same reason. So I just share really quickly why I'm so passionate about it. And that is that doTERRA is really second to none in that I don't feel comfortable giving or sharing or using any kind of oil medicinally for any reason really, aside from doTERRA. Their purity is amazing. They are second to none. They have over 60 tests that they do. There's most companies, it's 10 or 12 tests maximum. There's nothing ever added to them. There's nothing ever taken away. They grow it where it's most potent. They go, like, think of Madagascar and all the things they've done with all of the oils there. Like, it's incredible how many things come from the actual places that they should be coming from because they are best made in that actual place, right? So if we're getting the actual vanilla from Madagascar, it's a heck of a lot different than if it's grown in Ohio or somewhere, right? And they are so transparent. So if you ever want to know exactly the chemical constituents of this particular bottle, you go to www.source2u.com, you enter your little barcode on the bottom, and you can find out exactly what's in that particular bottle. So there's no other oil company that does that. It's just absolutely incredible. I love transparency. I'm all about that. So there's really no other company that I could imagine being with. And I've been with a few. I've used them for like 25 years overall, probably. And in the last 8 to 9, so ever since I started using doTERRA, I still have huge bottles of other oils. I just don't even use them anymore. Pardon me. So you guys know the ways to use the oils. Generally, what we talk about is aromatically, taking a couple drops in your hand, just rubbing them together, just breathing in, inhaling it, getting that aroma. It's actually going to trigger the brain. It's going to end up going into the olfactory nerve, right into your nervous system. And you're going to wind up having so many amazing chemical cocktails happen in your body and in your brain just from smelling that one oil. Beyond all the other medicinal properties that it has. Hello, guys. Welcome. Thank you for joining. Topically, of course, applying it with fractionated coconut oil or another carrier oil. You can apply it right to your feet, to the bottoms of your feet are one of the best places because it's just going to sort of go everywhere it needs to get to. The back of the neck or the front, the sides of the neck, always the pulse points, down the spine, on the chest, on the wrists. And then internally, of course, these are the only oils. The doTERRA oils are, of course, the only ones that I would end up using internally. We do have the actual health product code so that you can actually look up the nutrition facts and know what it's actually giving you. So that's kind of cool. Definitely having lemon in your water, some tangerine right now is something that I think everybody should be doing. And the other way is actually putting it in a little veggie capsule if you don't like the taste of it. So another hack I like is using frankincense. Take a drop in your hand, put your thumb into your hand, rub it in, and just place it on the roof of your mouth. Throw some peppermint in there if you need to kind of wake up while you're driving, or really just kind of get clear and sort of wake yourself up instead of an afternoon coffee. I'm trying to stay off coffee in the evening, so now that's what I'm doing. All right, so let's get into the fun stuff, shall we? The first one, our Marion Bright Room Spray. Now this is pretty typical. Peppermint and wild orange is kind of like our energy and focus blend. We add 2 drops of peppermint, 3 drops of wild orange, and just 1 drop of rosemary to a small bottle, just a 2-ounce bottle. And you're just going to top that up with distilled water. This is something you would literally spray all over the room. So distilled water is fine. If a little spritz stays on the carpet, it's not a big deal. If it ends up on the floor, you're not going to see it. It's just going to make your whole house smell really, really nice. You're going to be thinking clearer and you're going to actually have a lot of energy. So if you got to clean before everybody comes over, this is a really good one to use. Holiday room spray, another one. We have a couple recipes in here that are all about the frankincense, grapefruit, and Douglas fir. Now that is the Douglas fir, this is a huge amount of Douglas fir because it's a 4-ounce glass spray bottle. And this is one that I love soaking like the Christmas trees in, especially if you have a real tree, you can just douse it because it really smells like Christmas tree because of the Douglas fir. And then the grapefruit is super uplifting, really cleansing, and the frankincense is so grounding, and it really makes you feel like you're at church, at Christmas. It just kind of gives you that really nice feel. So that's just a nice, beautiful one, and you'll see that once or twice more in our recipes because we do love that blend together. So Winter Wonderland. Now this is going to remind you of some cedar wood, of maybe being outside, kind of refreshing. The wintergreen is kind of going to wake everybody up, and it's going to actually make everybody feel really good. The cedarwood's going to sort of calm everybody down, get that mind chatter to just kind of settle. And it's just like a really comforting smell, comforting scent. You're going to just spray it everywhere. So again, you're just going to fill it with water. And all you have to do is before you use these, just give it a little sort of swish. You don't have to shake it like crazy because the oil and water are just going to sort of, shake apart. But if you just kind of give it a little bit of a swish and then spritz it, you're going to have a great long lasting room spray. And you guys can play with the numbers of the oils for recipes. If you really love cedarwood, or if you really love that Northern Escape, add 3 drops of Northern Escape. It's not going to hurt, especially when you're using it as a room spray. You tend to like it a little bit stronger than not sometimes. So this again was with our frankincense, grapefruit, and Douglas fir. I thought that it was actually a different recipe for a roller bottle, but it's actually the exact same. So we're just going to keep going to my favorite one in this whole thing is the Mr. Grinch roller blend. And I was saying we could use it as a Mrs. Grinch roller blend too, because as much as I love DIYs, I'm not a Christmas person. So as I was saying that yesterday, I was thinking my kids would say, "You need that, Mom." Cardamom. So that's like it's a warm feeling. It has that spice that sort of, it reminds me of food. It reminds me of curries. And when I lived in the West Indies, I was, you all get together and just, it's got that really rich sort of just yummy smell, and it actually aids digestion and really is relaxing. So this is a really relaxing but really uplifting kind of a roller. So it's going to calm Mr. Grinch down, and it's going to make Mr. Grinch happy and peaceful. So this is literally 4 drops of cardamom, 6 of cedarwood, 3 of the bergamot, and then 8 of the patchouli. And the patchouli is just like a nice rounding out sort of grounding blend. This is not Christmassy, but it will certainly get you through Christmas. It's one to go in the stockings. All right, so Sugar Plum Fairy hand scrubs. Now, hand scrubs, body scrubs, they're all quite the same. The thing that differentiates is the amount of sugar and the amount of coconut oil generally that you're using and the kind of coconut oil you're using. So when you see unrefined or just plain coconut oil, when it doesn't say fractionated or liquid, that always means the hard stuff that you would get just in the big jar from Costco or what have you. So this is a beautiful hand scrub, and it is this easy, you guys. You take a bowl, you throw all your ingredients in it. So you get 3/4 of a cup of white sugar, half a cup of unrefined coconut oil. So that's just your hard stuff. And you mix it up, throw your lavender in there and pack it into a cute little jar and tie a ribbon around it. And it is that easy. So when people are gonna, say if for, I make this particular one with a bit of Epsom salts too for my husband when he comes in from being in the shop kind of thing, right? They can just kind of take a little bit and scrub it. So this is great when you have some dry hands going on. You can even be sweet and add a little bit of honey if you wanted, because it's going to moisturize the skin a little bit. You can play with these. They're just kind of like a rough idea to make a really nice scrub, but it's simply like mixing it together, adding the oil. You'll be amazed. And then you pack it in the jar and it just looks gorgeous. And you can use food coloring too, right? So if you wanted to make your sugar scrub with a little bit of red, you would take 2 bowls, you'd make your sugar scrub up. So you're going to put your 3/4 of a cup of the white sugar, and then you're going to put half a cup of the fractionated coconut oil in, mix them together. And then you divide them into the 2 bowls, and you can add a little bit of food coloring to one. So you can make them truly any color you wanted, but the red and white or the green and white look really nice for Christmas. Now, what I found with this, it calls for fractionated coconut oil, which is the liquid coconut oil. I've also tried it with like jojoba oil or avocado oil, and they're all really good for the skin. So it doesn't really matter which oil you use as a carrier oil. What I did find though is when I used all the liquid oils, it didn't set as nice in the layers. So if you're going for the layered effect and you want it to stay kind of more consistent, use a little bit. I actually go half and half with the fractionated coconut oil and the hard coconut oil. So I just like literally go 1/4 cup of each instead. And it was a really nice, it mixed super well. And then the color looked really good because it was just like wet sand that packed on top of each other. So it looked really, really nice. And this is really good for dry skin as well. So it's peppermint is the oil that we used of choice here. You could use something like the Douglas Fir or the Northern Escape or the Holiday Joy or the Holiday Peace or the Holiday Love that we might be getting. That would be kind of cool. I have no idea what that's going to smell like, but it's going to be so cool. So yeah, you can layer them. You can have a lot of fun with this. Use an old jam jar for these, right? Or go to the dollar store and just buy a few. They have like a 6-pack of jars for $2 or something like that. And they have checkered lids and they're really cute. People get a real kick out of them for Christmas and they know you made them for them, right? Just put some adaptive in there and just be like, this is a good one. So onto the scrubs. Speaking of hand scrub, the sugar scrub is great. This is a different version in where you would use this for something like your feet or your knees or your elbows, kind of like rough skin. So I used a 1/4 cup brown sugar, and then a 1/4 cup of the turbinado sugar. It's also brown sugar. It just has a slightly denser grain. It's a bigger grain, so it's a little bit more exfoliating. And then for this, I also used half and half. So I used a 1/4 cup fractionated coconut oil. And then I ended up using a 1/4 cup of the fractionated. So you want to have half and half. I don't know if I just repeated myself. You want to have half and half so that you end up having that consistency, because in this, the jar, you'll see the liquid will kind of settle to the bottom a little bit. And just after doing these for so long, that was the trick that I needed to, because you read a recipe and you do it, and then it turns out all slushy on the bottom. And it's like, what did I do? I followed it exactly. But after fine tuning it a little bit, if you want to end up kind of playing with it a bit, just try a bit of that hard coconut oil in there, but have a little bit of the liquid too. So that is, yeah, really great for anybody that has really rough skin. They would love that. This peppermint mocha coffee scrub was actually really fun to make. We call it mocha. There's actually no, I guess, coffee, but no chocolate. Unfortunately, you could always end up sprinkling some in. But what this does is it's like a nice exfoliating ground coffee rub. So it's really, with the caffeine, it's meant it's meant to tighten skin, to sort of tone any cellulite, things like that. So this is really good for people to just do a whole body scrub with. So you use 3/4 of a cup of ground coffee, and it's just ground coffee straight from the tin or the jar, and a 1/2 cup of brown sugar, a 1/4 cup of the hard coconut oil, and then you're going to scent it. The peppermint is great because it's very, tonic as well. You could also use something like ginger. People love the ginger and lime, ginger and peppermint. The ginger and even something like cypress is going to give you some really nice toning effects. The one thing I did the other night was made it with Slim and Sassy. And the Slim and Sassy and the coffee was a gorgeous smell. And I wouldn't have thought to do that, but why not have a Smart and Sassy coffee scrub? I really liked it. I was happy to do that. And it looks really cool in the jar too. It's kind of neat. All right. Am I moving too fast? You guys are keeping up okay here? Nothing too rocket sciencey about it. It's just giving you lots and lots of varieties. So making your own hand wash, if you ever run out of your On Guard hand wash, this is one way that you can end up doing just even with your old soap dispensers. You're going to only need a couple of tablespoons of Castile soap, and that you can just buy at VitaHealth or any kind of health food store. Pennyweight and Beausejour has some. You can just buy it. You want it completely unscented. You don't want any scent in it at all. And you're going to just fill it up with water, and you're going to add your drops of On Guard and Holiday Joy. When you put 10 drops of each of those together, it's really nice. I may put an extra 5 or 10 drops in of each just because I love the soap to really smell in the bathroom like that. And that Holiday Joy is really nice. I've had the Holiday Peace soap, but the Holiday Joy in the On Guard is really beautiful. And the trick to these dispensers is filling it almost to the top with water so that it's not quite going to pour out when you end up putting the dispenser, but you need a little bit of pressure in there. So if you can kind of pull up your plunger completely, kind of push it down and then just set it up, it'll start working a lot better because it needs pressure to make that foam. And it's awesome. And if it's not pressuring, give it a little bit of a shake and it will pressure up a little bit too. That really helps. I just love making hand washes because you can buy a thing of Castile soap for like $4 and you have hand soap for days. That's amazing. And no like $30 trips to Bath and Body to detoxify yourself, right? All right, so this one is really cool too. This is a beautiful, just a nice roller for someone for Christmas, someone who knows oils, someone who, when you look at something like a bottle that has frankincense in it, you're going to be like, what? She's amazing. And they're going to be able to use it on their skin. At night is sort of when it's recommended because it's really going to help regenerate your skin around all of the areas that you need it. You don't want it to go too close to the eyes, obviously, but just using a little bit, I kind of, do that T-zone, just sort of rub it into the skin and it feels really good. It's kind of a little bit tingly because of the tea tree, but it feels amazing. And the coconut oil will just it's not going to block any of your pores, but it's going to give you that moisturizing that you need for the winter. And so the copaiba and the frankincense are just like literally two of the most healing oils for skin. It's nothing better that you could give them. And it's, like natural inflammatory, so they won't be puffy in the morning, and just such a nice thing to do over the holidays because we tend to not eat sometimes as well as we generally would during the holidays. All right. Peaceful Dreams. This is a beautiful roller for bedtime, especially if someone has tried just Serenity before and it, maybe just didn't cut it for them. If they haven't tried it with sandalwood, they're missing out because it smells incredible. To me, it totally changes the smell because I'm obsessed with sandalwood. And truly, you could use either one. There are 2 sandalwoods, so it's not a problem to use the Indian or the Hawaiian at all. You would use 10 drops of each, that and the Serenity. And then you're just going to literally top that up with your fractionated coconut oil, put on your feet before bedtime. I would definitely put a little bit on the wrists and the neck just to kind of make my pillow smell all night while I roll around. And that's something that you could certainly put into such a nice little gift for people. And we can talk about where to get roller bottles and stuff like that. If you guys need some places locally or anything, I can definitely let you in on my goods. This was something really fun that I found at Michael's and Walmart, just kind of by fluke a few years ago, where they're plastic ornaments, just exactly like that. They have that metal lid. You literally just plunk it out. And I mix up a bowl with Epsom salts with some lavender. I have like little, just like uh, like little lavender flower type things, you know, and you just kind of, I crush them a bit and just sprinkle them into the bowl, mix it all up with the essential oils, and then just use a funnel and just pour them into these little ornaments. And people just love them. It gives you two really good baths. I've used everything from holiday peace, holiday joy. I used serenity and balance a lot for that. I used adaptive a lot last year. You know, just whatever. And I had all sorts of just different little labels that I had made up that I just tied on like a gift tag. And it just said exactly what was in it and just exactly what to do with it. And had a little Christmas tree on there. And people thought that was really cool too. And I was selling them at my craft markets, and people were really soaking them up. Like it was a really cool gift. And it was very personalized too, right? Soaking them up. Did you see what I did there? So cheesy. I need to get out more, you guys. All right. So absolutely any oil of your choice. And I can be like a total testament to these. I have had the oils in there with the salts for months, and it has never even made the plastic funny. Like they really are durable. I was very pleasantly surprised. All right. I am going to hand it over to Miss Samantha, and I will forward the slide on whenever you are ready.
Thanks, Jackie. So I'm Samantha Keynes. I, like Jackie, do a lot of DIYs, and this is one of my favorites because it's very multi-purpose. It is called shower melts, and it is so easy to make because it's baking soda, cornstarch, and water. It does give you the eucalyptus and peppermint oil, but I have changed that to be kind of any oil that I decided that I wanted to put into it. Last year, I actually made these for Christmas presents for everybody. And I did everything from adaptive. We did some laurel leaf. I did the peppermint eucalyptus. I literally changed it up as my mood suited. It is the easiest thing to make. Just make sure you're not getting everything too wet, making sure you're mixing it very, very carefully. And if you've ever made, like, I don't know what they call it, the oobleck in school, it turns into like a semi-solid, semi-liquid mixture that gets all mixed together. It turns into that. It's really fun to play with if you want to do it with your kids. And then, of course, because it is a liquid form turned to solid as soon as you put it into the molds, you do need to let them sit for 24 hours for them to dry. And as soon as they're dry, you can pop them out and put them into an airtight jar. Mom and I had actually a lot of fun trying to find little molds for these. We went to Dollarama, we went to Walmart, we even went to IKEA to try and find little molds for us to put these in. And so I have flowers, I don't even know what I have anymore, but I've got a lot of them. So it was fun to do that. Awesome. And so have fun with it. Find different ones that you can do.
Totally.
If you want to go to the next one, Jackie.
Awesome. I made a lot of those with the Easy Air last year because I found it was really good for like opening your lungs up in the morning. Hey?
Yeah, and actually one of the things with the shower melts is you're supposed to put it in like non-direct spray, but I actually found it, I ran out of my bath bombs, so I put a shower melt in my bath instead, and it worked. So that does work too.
That's a good idea too. I've also used with those shower melts, I've put a cup, like a coffee cup in the shower, and just put a bit of water in it and drop the shower melt in there, and then left the coffee cup on the ledge kind of in the back corner so that I could like keep, if I needed to bring it closer, I could keep it, and then I just pour a little in. And I love
it.
Those.
Does actually keep it a little cleaner because I do find that we have a residue on the side of it, and then you just kind of want to clean that up before you actually exit the shower. But that is true. Putting the coffee cup would work too. Bath bombs was like one of my first ever trial of DIYs for essential oils. And so this one is my tested, tried and true recipe. I have tried about 18 different recipes for the bath bombs, and this one actually works. I do have to say that this one works best with the molds that you want to, like, that you buy for them. We have tried a couple of different things, not as great. You need the 2 separations to actually get it to work. But 2 cups of baking soda, a cup of citric acid, Epsom salts, and this literally says whatever essential oil you want. I do adaptive a lot. I live off of adaptive though, so my baths are adaptive based. Carrier oil, that means, as Jackie was telling you, like jojoba oil, fractionated coconut oil. It does have to be a liquid oil. It cannot be one that turns solid. So if you're melting regular coconut oil into the liquid form, it doesn't really work. It's for whatever reason, it hardens it in the wrong way. And then with the witch hazel, you just want to spritz the bowl. And then if it gets too dry, you want to add a little bit of more of the carrier oil, but just very small drops. You do not want to overwater this thing because otherwise it just falls apart.
And starts to fizz.
That one too, yes. My original recipe actually had like a 1/4 cup of oil in it, and it did not go well. Did not go well at all.
Yeah, it would totally fizz. Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
I like, you just have to literally spritz it, mix it. Spritz it.
So I mean, it used to say like 18 spritzes, and I'm like, that gets too dry. So I mean, like, you
I noticed that too. Hey,
you have to find your balance. You need the witch hazel to get it to stick together, but you don't want to spritz too much of it. So I usually start with like 1 or 2, and then it says to use a spoon. I have never used a spoon. I need to be able to feel it to see if it's gonna stick together. So yeah, I mean, and it also says to leave it overnight. With this specific recipe, you can leave it overnight or you can take it out right away. You just need to make sure that those are really compact in there. Maybe leave 5 minutes and then you can try and take them out. Last time that I did it as little samplers, I actually did half the ball, left it just for a little bit, and then took it out of that half ball, and it was perfect. And I mean, it doesn't give you as long lasting scent in the bath, but it still gives you that nice fizz. So
that's a good idea. Actually, I never thought of doing
give
that.
people little samplers.
You're so smart. Yeah, that's awesome. That's perfect. Well, thank you so much, Samantha. You're a light and wonderful. You want to keep going? Come on.
Sure, why not?
There you go. Perfect.
So we have the holiday cheer perfume. Like Jackie was saying, we do have a lot of frankincense in a lot of these ones as our base. It's a very grounding blend, and then we've got the cheer, which is a really uplifting blend. So you gotta want to mix those together. And this one has a base in vodka, and it also does say to leave it for several days so that that smell goes away. Awesome. And yeah, just 4-ounce bottle. And I guess Jackie has some suppliers she can share with us because I'd like to know those. And yeah, so shake that up, put that in a cold, dark place for a little while, and let that permeate the scent. The essential oils will take that power and take the vodka scent away.
Exactly. Good for you. So I threw a tough one at you there because I didn't give. See, look how good you did. I didn't even give you any like prep work for that. I'm like, here, keep going. You're doing so good.
Thanks, Jackie.
You're amazing. Because yeah, the perfumes are just a little different, right? You can use an alcohol, you can use witch hazel even for perfume, but if you're going to use the alcohol, it does not smell like alcohol. It really makes a huge difference with the oils in there. You just have to literally let it sort of sit for a few days. I don't know if you guys have ever made perfumes. You've probably done that, hey? I've
done it only in witch hazel bases, and I actually half and half it witch hazel and water, and it seemed to last and seemed to smell nice. Exactly. I've never used I don't really like alcohols, so I don't have a whole lot of them. So
it's true. But I actually got a distiller so that I could make different like actual grades of alcohol mostly for hand sanitizers. Yeah, except for I'm apparently really good at it, and I think if I ever tried to drink it, I'd probably go blind. So keeps me from being a shutdown out here. All right.
This is one of Jackie's recipes, but it's one of the ones that I actually love to do as well, is the bath salts. This one's obviously eucalyptus, spearmint and eucalyptus, even drops 3 each. And Epsom salts. This is another really, really easy recipe. You literally take your Epsom salts and add your oils. And like Jackie was saying, if you like it a little stronger, this one will be able to take a little bit extra oil if you want it a little bit stronger. And just take a teaspoon about is what I would put in my bath. But sometimes I like that a little stronger too. So 3 teaspoons.
Yeah. And honestly, you could dump this whole thing in a bath. It could be like, that could be a whole, I would break it into a couple just to make it last longer. But yeah, dress it up with a little lavender in there, some, even some pine needles, right? The Douglas fir needles in your bath would be super
right cool. Now, laurel leaf seems to be my oil of choice. With the seasons changing,
it's amazing.
It's just so great. So yeah,
it's really good for lung health too, right? Like I think that's one of those ones that are hiding in the easy air that really make a huge difference.
Definitely.
Have you made a beard oil yet?
I have not. I've tried the doTERRA
Oh.
beard oil, which is fantastic, by the way. I actually use it right after I shave right on my legs, and it's like soft as a baby's bum, seriously.
See,
Um,
that is something I did not even think of, using the beard oil for after shaving.
you know, I saw them. I'm like, I love those three smells. Like, why wouldn't I buy it? I mean, I use the
That's brilliant.
balance every day, and I mean, you use the adaptive every day, and the northern
I
mint
love
is
it.
great. So why not? Or sorry, northern escape is great. So yeah.
Exactly. I was so excited to see that we got beard oils finally, because I got requested a lot of that last year, and I was kind of like, I don't know. So I would mix a little bit of jojoba oil. I had a little bit of oh gosh, argan oil for the hair. I had all sorts of stuff, but truly a little bit of coconut oil and a few drops of essential oil, and you're set. And it's literally take a couple drops, sort of rub it. They literally just kind of put a little bit on their beards. But yeah, or as Samantha says, you can put it on your legs. I am so trying that tonight.
Seriously, I sometimes struggle with my razor. Like, I mean, I don't even know if I should be allowed around sharp objects some days because I get razor burns so bad sometimes. And seriously, I walked out of the
That's
shower
amazing.
in the last week and I had such bad razor burn on one of my legs. I'm like, you know what? I'm done. I went straight to my stuff. I'm like, normally I would just go to one of the salves that I make tons of
Yeah.
times, and that's something that I always went to. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna try the beard oil on this time.
Hmm.
Put the balance on, barely felt it the next minute.
I love that. I love that. And the balance would be really calming for the skin too, right?
Yeah,
Look at this. I'm learning more than ever. This is great.
I love trying new things.
It's true, right? And lip balms are amazing too. Have you made lip balms yet?
I've tried a couple. I would never sell them. They're not really turning out the way I want them
Right.
to.
Okay, I found the key. The key is basically it's so easy. You can get beeswax pellets, or you can get bars of it and just break it off. I have a little kitchen scale, so I use my kitchen scale, but you can kind of go, the same amount of shea butter and coconut oil, whatever it is you're going to use, and then just slightly less, about a third less of the beeswax. The beeswax takes a little bit longer to melt. You can melt it in a glass, like in a glass jar in the microwave. I use a glass jar in a bottle, basically a pot with some water in it, and almost like a double boiler kind of a thing, because I'm not going to wreck my pots. But I stick just a little jar in, and I just melt my butters up, and then add your coconut oil, and it just melts really nicely. You take it off, it slightly cools, and then what you do is you can take like a plunger. You can actually just pour it right into your lip balm. You can get lip balm tube dispensers, super cheap, at health food stores. Even they sell them at Michael's. They probably even sell them Amazon. It's so cheap, right? And with the tubes, you just slowly fill it up. You kind of tap it, and then you fill it up to the top, and then you literally transfer it right into the fridge, and you let it sit in the fridge for like an hour or two. I usually do it overnight before I go out, and it never gets that grainy, gritty sort of feel to it. They are the smoothest, nicest lip balms I have ever made with this particular recipe. And I made these cute little labels. Like, I don't even know if I have one sitting around here. This is my rollerball, but it's the same kind of thing. Like, I just made these cute little labels, right? And it just said like peppermint dream or whatever. And I had cocoa butter I made with it instead of shea butter one time, and used the peppermint oil. And it was like, oh, it was so good. It was really, like, really amazing cocoa butter that I had found. I haven't been able to find that good quality again. So
Yeah.
yeah, lip balms. And you can also get those little containers at the Dollar Tree or dollar stores, right? Like, you can find all sorts of little craft stuff. When you're going down the aisles now in the dollar store, you guys are going to look at them a whole lot differently. You're going to be like, what can I make and put in there? So this is something that I had my daughter go fetch for us, because we made our dog prints. We stuck our dog prints in them when we made them, and it's just salt dough. And this is from 2020. It'll be 20. Yeah. So like this is a good almost 2 years old, and it's still in perfect condition. And it's literally just flour and salt and water, and you literally just mix it all together and make dough and cut it out like you would cookies. Like, we ended up making dough balls and putting the footprints in, right? But we made cookie cutters, like they had reindeers and snowmen and little gingerbread men. And so they just look like natural dough. And we just punched a little hole with a straw at the top, baked them up, and took them out. We let them totally harden and dry. Again, you have to have patience with all these DIYs. You got to let them dry overnight. And what we did was basically just put a couple drops of essential oil on them, put them in a cute little bag from the dollar store or whatever, tied it with a ribbon, and gave it to the teachers. And they open it up and it smells like holiday peace or holiday joy. And they were just like, oh, this is amazing. You made that. And so it was really cool. And it was so easy. Just literally 4 cups of water to a cup of salt, and then a cup and a half of warm water. And that was it. It was super duper easy. All right. And scented pine cones. Now this is a really easy hack. We've done all sorts of stuff, but what my family's done in the past, we go out on like a little treasure hunt, get some pine cones, whatever we can find, cedar, whatever we can find out there. The pine cones, I always worry about keeping them inside just because there's little critters and funky stuff. We live on a farm, right? So I actually soak the pine cones with a little bit of water, colored water. We use like red or green, and we throw some glitter in there, and we throw some On Guard in there so that it kind of cleans it and smells at the same time. Just let them soak for a little bit, pull them out, and just let them dry on parchment paper, and then dose them again with essential oils. And the kids usually go at it with like a little glitter brush or glitter glue or sparkly glitter something there's on there always, or even paint. They've kind of painted the edges or painted underneath, just made the pine cones really pretty. But it's an instant diffuser, and then you can just make a nice little display out of them, put them on your table, have little, whatever sort of festive things. You can always add a nice little pine cone in there. So it's just a nice way to use them. It's just literally a passive diffuser, a little room freshener. You can put them in the bathroom. All right, peppermint fudge. This is a really easy recipe, and it does, the only thing that it has is marshmallow cream that, maybe out of what you would normally have at home. But generally, this is something that you can kind of whip up really quickly and just throw in the fridge after to cool, right? So you need a can of evaporated milk, about 12 tablespoons of butter, 3 cups of sugar, and then like a small package of semi-sweet chocolate chips, a small jar of the marshmallow cream, and then you need your peppermint oil. So you literally mix all of the heavy cream and everything together into a saucepan and just heat it up. If you have a candy thermometer, you want it to read around 234 exactly. As soon as you get to that point, you're going to take it off the pan, take the pan off the heat, and basically mix in your peppermint oil, and you're going to just pour it into the pan really nicely, however you want. Put some sprinkles on and call her done, and it'll look absolutely gorgeous and taste like a dream. The only problem is getting it to where you need it to go before you eat it. All right, so this is a great drink that I've made a ton of times. Now, I'm going to give you a recipe that's super easy. This is essentially, if you have any kind of apple cider at home, any kind of ciders out, and you happen to have your oils, a great way to get your oils into your system is just adding a couple of them. So just, with this would be to make, if you were making like a big pot of cider, you would add 3 drops of wild orange, 2 drops of cinnamon or cassia, and 2 drops of ginger to the apple cider. And it just gives it a really nice flavor, but actually enhances all the health benefits. You're going to get like all of the metabolism boosting, all of the immune boosting things to go along with that. So super huge. The other thing you can do is just take a simple Tetra Pak of apple juice. And we've taken about 4 of them, 2 to 4 of them, put them in a crock pot. And then I put about 4 or 5 drops each. I have 4 or 5 drops in total. I put 2 of cinnamon, 2 of clove, and then 1 of either wild orange or lemon. I usually go for wild orange because it just tastes really good. Sometimes a drop of ginger, depending, but it is incredible. And it tastes like apple cider that you have been brewing for hours and hours. Throw a couple cassia sticks in there, and it's just absolutely amazing. So literally apple juice. And then for every liter of apple juice, I just start with a drop. You can always add more, but it's amazing how much, when you're heating it up, how much 1 drop of cinnamon really flavors it very, very well. You can also cut up some apples and throw it in there too, right? I always do that at Christmas. I absolutely love it. And if you want to have something nice on the breakfast table, you can also have the cinnamon creamer. So you're literally going to get your half and half cream, pour it into like a jar or container, add a little bit of sweetener if you want, and then use a toothpick, and you're going to dip the toothpick into the cinnamon bottle, and you're just going to lift it out, and you're going to put it into your creamer, and you're going to just taste it to see if that's cinnamony enough. If not, you're going to grab a new toothpick and you're going to put it into your cinnamon bottle, and then you're going to mix it into your creamer, because if you put a drop, it's almost too much. You can always add a bit more creamer if you have a little bit too much cinnamon, but it can get really tough. So with the toothpick method is usually, I haven't gone much beyond a drop. My husband really likes cinnamon though, so we go hard with that stuff. But yeah, a drop is way more than enough for just, having creamer on the table. So, and you can sprinkle a little on too, just, or a little nutmeg on there even, just to make it look pretty. Now, this is something super simple as well. It's simply just 7-Up or sparkling water with cranberry juice, adding a drop of lime and garnishing it up, making it look all pretty. You can be fancy. You can freeze ice cubes with a drop of oil in all of them. You can put, I've frozen ice cubes where it's just water. I put a drop of lime in each of them. But really, this way you can just put it straight in the glass. You're not getting more if the ice melts, and less. And it's just so easy. Just put some juice, some 7-Up, some sparkling water, some ice cubes, and some lime essential oil, and it looks gorgeous. You can even make a nice big punch bowl of that. So if you're making or baking anything with oils, one of the things that you can do is the toothpick method. The other things you can do are basically just adding a drop or two when you're going to be baking, simply because when you bake, it's going to evaporate a little bit more. So it's harder to sort of overdose with oils when you're baking versus making a marinade or a creamer or something like that. So this is just a sort of a real roundabout measure. With something like a batch of cookies, you'd probably never put more than 5 drops into the dough. Even if you're not tasting it, it may taste different when they're out. So you don't want to overdo it, especially depending on the cookies. It can be overpowering, right? So never try that sort of 5-drop rule. Pies are often a little different depending on the strength of the pie and the kind of the oil that you're using. Apple cinnamon pie would be different case than something like lime or lemon, right? So you're going to just sort of go accordingly, generally 3 to 8. Most of the time, cake spreads, things like that, about 2 to 4 drops are good. Or if you're making fillings or frostings, you're not generally going to need more than 4 drops. This is just a guideline, so you know, because people like my husband just go and put more is better, and then you've got a ruined salad. Not that he's ever done that, but and then candy. If you're making candy, you're generally using quite a bit of heat. That heat can also make that scent and taste evaporate a little bit. So you can almost always use 2 to 4 drops. I don't generally use the toothpick method unless I am doing marinades or something that's really special that I don't want to ruin, or a drink. Now, another fun thing that you can do with toothpicks is all it is putting them in with a tiny bit of coconut oil, like a tiny bit of fractionated coconut oil, into a jar. You're going to just dump a bunch of toothpicks in there, and you're going to put some essential oils in there, about 10 drops of something like cinnamon. And you can use, those little foam balls from the dollar store too. We had colored them with icing. We had lots of fun with these because we were making them last year for the DIYs, but the picture actually looks way better than what we had made. So I just used this picture, but it's really cool what you can do with these. Toothpicks are a really neat aid in someone who's, got things like addictions, or is trying to quit smoking, or wants to lose weight. You can use the Smart and Sassy on it, and they can suck on the toothpicks and put them in their mouth. Instead of going for a snack, they can grab a toothpick out of that jar, off of their desk. And the cinnamon, you put cinnamon and black pepper, you're going to have a perfect stop smoking aid. Little things that you can do with recipes just to try and get it into your system. But more than anything, just blow the socks off your guests at Christmas when you bring out the old toothpick ball that smells like cinnamon. All right. So that is all of our slides. I feel like I just yabbered your guys' ear off. That was a lot of information to take in. I believe most of you that we have on right now are you already have a membership. Because we have this on a recording and we have people watching the replay, I'm just going to go through this really quick if you guys don't mind. About the ways to purchase. We have 3 different ways to purchase. you can simply go on our account and order retail, whatever you like. We feel bad doing that just because it is a little bit more expensive that way. So we generally recommend our wholesale option so that you can get the same prices that we do at 25% below retail. You just get your membership. It ends up giving you all our prices. You get all the specials. You can then go a step further and get some free oils every month, have an order that you're always going to be able to rely on, and also get free stuff while you're doing it. So it's just completely to your comfort level. There's absolutely no pressure with doTERRA. It's all about your health. It's a company that has basically every area covered. And they had in November, we just actually finished. I was going to take this off and I meant to go through that. We'll just move through that one right now. In December, we have a whole bunch of new promotions. We have we have every December, we have a promotion where we have a 200 PV order. We are receiving a free frankincense, a free myrrh, and a free holiday love. It's called. It's brand new oil. I have not smelt it. It sounds just delectable from the indications, anyways, from the suggestions of the oils that are in it. I can't wait. And we get frankincense and myrrh this time instead of just the frankincense on its own. So that is really cool. They've never done that before. So that was an exciting change. And then we do have kits that you can get as well. And if you order something like this kit, you see there's 116.5 PV. That's almost 200 PV. So if you had another couple of oils on there, you would actually have your kit. You'd have free frankincense, you'd have free myrrh, you would have free holiday love, and you would also end up getting the free product of the month as well. So I had it up here so that I was going to be able to show you, so that we have a few different things going on right now. Okay, so we have the ylang ylang is on for 10% off. We have the 200 PV free order, and then it said, oh, that's why I didn't have it. It said product of the month. Okay, you guys, help me out. What is the product of the month this month? Have we found out yet? Maybe
it's
someone
the first, so it should have just come out today.
I know, right? So yeah, if anybody wants to find that for me, I'll keep going here for a moment. So we have 3 types of people that usually come to these classes. We have the best type, which is the ones that love to do DIYs. No, I'm just kidding. We have us. We have the ones that want to live the wellness lifestyle, right? We want to just literally have a life of health and vitality, and we want to have a toxic-free lifestyle. We want to be able to use natural medicine as much as we can to help us as much as we possibly can, and have these things to be able to help balance our moods, to help be able to give us all of our nutrients that we need, right? And once we start loving them, we end up wanting to help other people. So that's a way you can get all your stuff paid for. And then you can do what I'm doing now, and actually doing this as a full-time business along with my mindset coaching. And I get to literally live a life that I love every single day, being able to just kind of hop on and teach and share with people, and be able to just be supportive for my team and be able to connect with people. We have very little times where we actually get to get out and get together. And this is, I don't know, these classes are really special. I love being able to get together with you guys on Wednesday nights and just share some new stuff with you. Some of these were new recipes, so hopefully you guys will have some fun things to go on and share. Did anyone have any questions before I?
Product of the month is clove.
Clove. That I knew that too. Thanks, Shannon. I just wasn't thinking.
And you get a real pretty little pine cone ornament.
I saw that. That looks beautiful. Hey.
Yes.
I love, what, it always surprises me because I got that ornament last year and I was like, hey, we got an ornament. Everyone's like, yeah, of course. I'm like, oh. Yeah, I bought like 5 of them. They're great. I love all these ornaments. They're literally hanging on my tree, and they're all have diffuser, all have oils on them. Thank you. That was perfect.
Jackie, where will we find the recording? Because my camera died in the middle of your session here.
Oh, no worries. I will post it on Rosetta's oil education page there.
Okay,
I'll make sure it goes on there. There is a replay of yesterday's, but I was literally speed talking. I did it in like half the time that I did tonight. So, so if you want the version that's understandable, it wasn't quite English tonight, but if you like it's slow enough to understand.
you were very good tonight.
Oh, I love your patience, Linda. Thank you. Oh, it's too cute. I'm going to just, you know what, I'll stop the recording just so that we're not in Cyberland. Thank you everybody for coming.